those it's a great day of the year because Starbucks holiday drinks are back. So I'm a creme brulee kind of man. We're just kind of talking about coffee. What kind of coffee are you, Jeff?
Oh, I love all different types of coffee, flavored coffee, Dunkin', Starbucks. I don't know, black, cream. I don't use sugar though. That's one thing I don't. I don't use sugar.
Heard it here first. Jeff doesn't discriminate against coffee. Let's go.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
See, off as the video was playing, people didn't get to see, but Jeff was like scarfing down his coffee, making
There
sure
you
he's
go.
ready. I
Yeah,
want to
gotta
say
have that, man.
good morning to our brother Kyle. I saw
Hey,
your
Kyle.
post yesterday. Amazing. I
Yes.
love the collaboration with you and John yesterday,
Oh,
and
yeah.
seeing the one
John's
with
a
the
good
Facebook
man.
post.
John is a good man, and I would definitely put him up there. I've had many conversations, as you know, Ryan, with him, and he's just a really good dude, and we've had some really good conversations, and I'm sure we'll have more. I may even go down there and visit him one of these days. So, good
you
guy.
know, Being in Canada, we don't have Carl's Jr. or Hardee's, so like it sucks that I haven't been able to try it yet. There's like three, and you guys, all you Americans, can tell me if they suck or if they're good. But well, you guys are gonna say Carl's and Hardee's is good, but I've always wanted to try Sonic and In and Out. So those are like the two I would always kind of love to try, and we don't have that here in Canada. We have great burgers out here, but they're more like
You have
individual.
Five Guys, right?
Yeah, we got Five Guys. Five Guys is expensive though. You go there and you're for a burger and fries, you're paying like $25, and it's like I'm not
I
a big
just know
person.
the name. I just know the name, but I promised myself before my daughter was born, believe it or not, even when I quit smoking, I quit fast foods. I stopped eating it. I have
Did you?
not had Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, nothing. I just threw it out the window, man. Never went back.
You know what's
I
crazy?
do eat
Like
pizza
it's funny you say that. Like I'm on my like third week of not having. I've been cooking every day at home, and
though. Awesome.
an air fryer has been such a big help. And just learning to enjoy food because like I'm trying to cut weight, and people think you got to eat that like bland chicken
Oh,
and
me
and
too, dude.
broccoli, but honestly, like I've been enjoying what I eat. Eating a lot of fish, eating a lot of broccoli with like garlic and olive oil. Like
Oh,
I'm
that's
thoroughly
good weight
enjoying.
cutting. That's good weight cutting to cut fat and stuff like that. Good stuff to eat, man. Absolutely. That's what I'm
Awesome.
trying to do myself.
Well, that's good.
I'm winning and I'm losing. It is wins and lessons, right? So that's my week so far. I had a few wins and a few losses eating food. Let's put it that way. But I'm
Well,
going in
yes,
the right
you need
direction.
balance, right? You need balance. It's just like ordering like a double Big Mac with large fries, but Jeff, you get the Diet Coke for balance. For there. But kind of mentions here he got
Yeah.
5 clients yesterday because of his talk with John. So one of the biggest resources, and we'll probably get into it a lot later on. But when you're talking to your prospects, it's always a way to learn, right? And talking to people because just because you're not doing business with them doesn't mean that you can't learn. One of my wins, I'll talk about it later, but like well, I'll just say it now is like I was talking to a prospect and she said, "Hey, we're fine with shipping. We're good to go. If anything happens, we'll get in contact with you." Cool. I don't push the button, but I plugged our show, and she's like, "Okay, I'll watch it," and I was like, "Cool." You just never know what's gonna happen, and I just want to say good morning to Jenny. Jenny's been here
Hey,
consistently.
Jenny.
Lisa, good morning to Lisa. And Kyle says, "Hey, we got
Lisa. Wait
A&W
a second.
out here."
Lisa has fallen behind. I mean, she was the
Yeah,
king of the hill, or the queen of the hill, I should say.
something must be going on in Cali. Like I know
Man,
something.
I don't know. We're gonna have to have a chat, Lisa.
It's been an awesome week, and let's get started with you, Jeff, buddy. Let's get started with the wins. What do you got to tell us this week?
Going back to what Kyle was just mentioning about, he got five new clients. One thing which is a lesson and a win at the same time is that John Brewer and myself are friends, right? And I always tell him, we're not friends because I want to do business with you. I just want to be friends, and we have that kind of relationship. And the thing is with that is that you can have friends in the business and they're not in your niche, and you have to know how and when to say no. You know, hey, Jeff, can you help me out? No, man, that's not the path I travel, man. I
Yeah.
do not like food. I mean, I'll be more than happy to say it right now, um, that I give that stuff to Lisa. If I happen to, come across something like that, it's not in my wheelhouse. I'll give it out. So it's a lesson for everybody out there that you could be friends with so many people in the industry, and it doesn't mean you're trying to be friends to get their business. Um, it's not that way at all, man. It's a huge industry out there. 12% of GDP, I think it is, right? So there's more than enough for everybody out there to get a piece of the pie. I mean, when you look at a pie, you're probably getting like what a little piece like this.
You get me hungry now, man.
Right, exactly. So I mean, that's a win and a lesson at the same time, that you can be friends, you can be cordial, you can share knowledge and walk away, happy, and not think that, oh man, I just lost a prospect or something.
Opportunity.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. But back to my, this week I launched our new association, and it didn't go as well as I thought, and primarily it was because of the marketing and branding. Branding happened at the last minute on it. I was pushing it, but we didn't have enough content in it, and I think that's what made it go south a little bit. But we had a few people.
As Jeff is cutting out here, he's the New Jersey Supply
I
Chain
tell you,
Association.
man, I have to get the Geek Squad or Hello
You
Tech
know
or
what?
something.
I'll say it part of my win, but you've been saying this
That's a
forever.
loss. That's a loss. It happens every day, and I'm procrastinating on getting them over here. So I apologize, folks. But so what was I saying?
Just the opportunities, like with the association that you're with, like I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah. And it was about the marketing and branding of it. So I'm working on that, and the board is going to be brainstorming to come up with the right content. So I know it's going to take off, and I have all the patience in the world. I don't rush things that fast. So that was a win and a lesson at the same time. Let's see other wins. Getting new opportunities. I try to get new opportunities every single week. My partner was down at some convention in Daytona. What was it, yesterday? Had some good contacts there as well. We try to, the events out there, which is all over the place. You see F3 and IATA and you name it, all over the
Freight
place.
Fest starting today. Yeah.
Yeah. When you go there and you network, and I've been to several over the decades and stuff like that, you have to think outside the box. Sure, you're going to learn, you're going to get that knowledge and everything. What's the primary reason that you're going to these events, right? One, you're going to network. One, second is going to get a lot of knowledge, make a lot of friends, see old associates and everything. But how about like prospecting and doing that? You're going to get carriers, you're going to get service providers, but not too many shippers in those.
No.
It's more about the 3PL and the service side of the industry, learning about new things that other service providers are implementing, or the technology and everything. That all good, man. I think everybody should go and see that. But there's a lot more that a lot of people can do out there to gain prospects, and you have to be really creative in doing that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts on that? I'm just curious.
I love it, man. I love it. So here's what I do. When I go to shows, I actually got one coming up next Thursday and Friday. It's actually a photo and video one. Like all the companies are going to be there. Here's
Nice.
what I do, Jeff, that I love. I love going to these. I prefer those than going to like the Freightwave ones, or like to be honest, I don't really want to care to really meet people in the industry. But with that being said, I'd rather go to the shipper focused ones. And what I like to do is that expo, every convention, they obviously have a website.
Yeah.
They have an exhibitor list. So sometimes it'll be
Yes.
digital or they'll just have it. And that's where I prospect. I'll look at them and I was like, okay, cool. Let me do some research on them. Let me find out who's there. And I've been on the other side of it. I work in dog rescue. So we have events where we're actually having a table and selling products for dog rescue. And my motive when I'm in there is really to get awareness for what we do, and obviously sell and make money, right? So I think of that when I kind of go to those expos and conventions. I want to be able to have conversations with them, have genuine ones with them. I'm not going there just with a plan to be like, oh, I just spoke with this person so I could prospect them. I want to
Right.
learn about it, right? Because I mentioned that I went to a concrete expo a couple years ago, and there's this company that does lifts, right? And lifts like boom lifts and those machineries and excavators. And I was able to like understand what they do, like, how the parts get built, like how this whole machine comes together, and knowing how basically how the cookie is made, like I can have that conversation with the customer, and it's better for me to bring that value rather than
Yeah.
I'm caller 50 of the week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
And you say something fantastic here, because you have a niche, you know what you want to go after, and you think you know it. You think you really know that. But when you go to these niche events that you want to go there, it's really surprising how much more knowledge that you gain. You think you know a lot, and you come out of there with a wealth of knowledge, so that it helps you in prospecting and learning more about the industry in which you want to go after. And that's a huge takeaway, huge win on that side that you're saying. I agree 100%.
And you know what? Like, I'll tell you this, chef. Like, I've never been a car guy. Like, I'm a car. Like, I get a car to go A to B, and there's
I'm a
a
car
car
guy.
show. You're a car guy, right? So, and then there's
Oh
a
yeah.
trade show every year in Toronto, and I go to it for the fun of it, right? Like, this is gonna sound really weird, but like, there's always like freebies and stuff, and I'm not a cheap person, but like, it's always kind of cool. Like, my buddies and I used to go, and like, we could always count like one of the companies out there giving like cookies out there, and we're like, okay, a box of cookies. They're like, all right, that's cool. And as Lisa, I actually want to bring this up. Her and Chad are actually going to Kauai for their anniversary trip, so congratulations to both of you.
Nice. Congratulations.
That's
Happy
amazing.
anniversary, Lisa and Chad.
Yeah, happy anniversary. And Lisa brings up a point here. There is a pet one that I sent over to her in May, so we're gonna go to that one because I'm all about
Nice.
dogs and pets and all those things. And one of the wins actually is that one of the companies that I've been working with, they've actually got bought over by a bigger company. So I guess it's gonna be a lesson for me because it's the first time in my logistics career that a
Yeah.
company has been acquired by another company. So just to navigate through those not necessarily loopholes, but it's a new challenge for me, and I'll definitely be leaning on you guys for advice on that from there. But for wins, my big win, brother, today actually makes 2 months since I've been on the show. It's been
Wow.
started
That's awesome.
September. Yeah, it's been an amazing feat. It's brought so many amazing, getting to know amazing people and having this conversation every day with you, and it's from my heart, man. It's something that I really feel proud
Yeah,
of.
I enjoy it too, and it's really funny because I was going to tell Dan, and I couldn't believe it. The first time I was on the show was on November 1st, 21,
Get
and I was
out of
like,
here.
"What the hell?" I mean, it's like it's so crazy when you think about it, and everybody knows the story about Dan and I, and then one thing led to another, and here I am under the worst circumstances. I have to say that worst circumstances, because what happened to Dan. But it's amazing how fast time flies, man, when
Yes,
you're having
yes,
fun. I can't believe it's a year, and then being on the show like every single day, and hopefully adding some, takeaways and some knowledge, and giving the help to our audience. I love doing that kind of stuff and sharing it. And I'm grateful, just like yourself, getting to know you and being on the show and being confident. Like I said, podcasting wasn't my thing, man. I was
yeah.
just doing my business and talking to people, but This is awesome, man. It's such a
Yeah, you know
fun
what?
show.
For me, it's like scratch an itch, Jeff, because for those who don't know, like me and my one of my really good buddies, we did YouTube. I want to say maybe like 8 years ago, but we did like a comedy channel, and it probably lasted like 3 months. But we had some viral videos, and doing this again is like scratch the itch, and that's actually another win for me. Is that like I'm gonna be kind of looking at like basically starting up YouTube again, kind of doing like video podcasts and things like that, and different lifestyle videos. But you know what? It's just another my focus will always be on logistics, Jeff. So like
Oh,
this is
me
just
too.
added
Always.
another arm for me, right? And being able to like every time I finish, and maybe for people kind of watching here, if they don't do video prospecting, definitely do it. Every time we get off our calls here, I make sure to send out 5 videos to prospects or customers, because I got that adrenaline kind of going, right? And
Yeah.
kind of getting used to camera. But one thing I like that you said about like the F3s and all these meetings is technology, right? And I saw that a lot. Like we were talking about technology quite a bit, and on a call yesterday. And you're looking at all like these TMS companies, and you're looking at everything visibility and things like that. And I love that sales is really always kind of the same, but technology is making I want to say technology is making sales easier, right? Because you look at it like maybe like 15, 20 years ago, you got to do manual calls to check in on where the truck is. Now you could shoot a link and you could go to sleep happy, right? So that
Yeah.
saves a call, that saves
Yeah.
calls, saves the email and things like that. And even technology for like billing and things like that, right? Like how is technology, you've been in the industry for a while, but how has technology affected you?
Oh my God. And I'll say this for my generation. Listen, if you're not up to date on the technology that's coming into play, it seems like it's happening every week, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
it
every
really,
week,
it
man.
really
There's always
does.
something, some
The
new bell and
evolution,
whistle.
for those that didn't have that opportunity, back in my day, everything, rates, tariffs, they were on pieces of paper and they were called pony charts, and that's what they were called, the pony charts. And the Zarlite base and the yellow 500G and all those different types of tariffs off there, it was all on paper, and we didn't have systems to go and do all this stuff. It was all manual stuff. All of our reports were on 11 by 17 green bar paper that we had to print out every day, and we had to look at all the line item details and stuff. And then the AS400 came into play, and everybody went blind because the screen was this green with white lettering, and at the end of the day, your eyes were popping out of your effing head, and it was crazy. And so my generation, the ones that aren't, um, you know, not brought up to speed, are old school. Don't want to learn the new, nuances with the technology. You're losing out, my friends. You're
Yeah.
losing out tremendously. The logistics industry is a high pace. The evolution of it is happening at such a high rate of speed compared to 35 years ago. It's really incredible. And I definitely will tell you now, in strong advice, if you don't like using technology, you better start. You better start right away and learn that, man. It's really important to your success. I try to learn different things every single day. And one of the biggest benefits that I ever had was I had the opportunity to develop a proprietary TMS system. And what I did at that time was trying to outthink the shipper in the questions that they would ask, and whether or not we had the ability to do it. And I was a firm believer and looking at the future and building it. It's like the field of dreams, right?
Hmm.
So if you build it, they would come kind of philosophy. So if you could outthink the thinker and create that, and they ask you if you could do it, it would be great to go back to the office and hit a toggle switch and you're on your way, instead of finagling and saying to your customer, let me think about that, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And soon as possible was 2, 3, 4, maybe a month or two, and by that time you're done. You're toast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know TMS systems pretty well, and WMS systems and YMS systems, all those different kinds of things, because I had hands-on and work with directors on that, like I said, to help build those type of things. So please, guys out there, if you're still in the industry, you're not retired, and you want to learn more, hit the books, go to these technology seminars, events, learn everything that you can do.
And I want to give you like a scenario that I think is amazing to think about, right? Like, okay, so look at the movie theater experience, Jeff.
Mhm.
You look at like, let's say 10, 15 years ago. I know for me, you buy movie tickets. You'd have to, okay, so let's start off. The beginning would be you have to go there to even check the times, right? And then you buy the tickets and then you'd line up, you go there maybe 30 minutes to an hour just so you can get a seat, right? Now we've evolved where buy your tickets online. You can basically pick the types of seats that you want. Here you can get like a sofa, you can get something with a reclining chair and different things. And you know what? The experience hasn't changed. Sorry, the experience has changed for like the buying and everything like that, but you're still going to see movies on like the theater, right? So that part of it hasn't changed at all, right? So
Yeah,
I
but the
think
only
with technology,
problem with that is the only problem with that is with that technology is that they oversell seats. So you buy them on there and you go there to go see it, and they're like, this event is sold out. So why did you sell me the tickets online? That's the only caveat to that, you know?
yeah,
So there's always issues in technology, and that's what you have to think about. It's just like, I'll give you another example. It's like some of the steamship lines online appointment process, the same damn thing,
uh,
right? When you're looking at technology, okay, you go in there, Dre guy, you find the first available appointment, and it's at 1 a.m. in the morning. So you punch it in, you put all your information in there, and you go and wait at the gate. You get to the gate, and you're like, sorry, we're not taking anymore. It's like now there's so much money wasted when you think about the Dre guy that's sitting in there for a couple hours, not making a dime. They get to the gate and they're turned around, and now the customer and is held hostage, and they have to pay the demurrage, right? So it's like, so there's a lot of issues with the technology part of it. I mean, it's not foolproof by any means, and a lot of it needs to be torn down and rebuilt. And I know they're in the process of doing that, and we all have that patience, but we can't wait until that time comes.
well,
So it
you
makes
always
our
look at
job so much
evolution, right?
easier.
Yeah, you
What's
look
that?
at evolution. You look at evolution of it, right?
Yeah.
Because like technology should work hand in hand, but it shouldn't be the only thing that we do, right? Like I don't work in Dre, so I'm not too sure of those things, but I know like something simple, like Jeff, like 10, 15 years ago, anywhere you went, it was rare to see like an ATM or like one of those those to tap on anything like that, right? It was cash only. Like I know when we used to go to flea markets, cash only. My dad would give my sister and I $20. Once that $20 is gone, you're done. We spend on candy, but like now, it's like even when we do expos, we got the square. If everybody knows what the square is, tap on. I see people tap on with their watch. They can tap on with anything. Like now, technology has become such. And I know there's cons to it because you become on the reliance of it when it comes to like your cell phones and things like that, right? But if you use technology for the right ways, it could definitely
Yep.
like
Oh, sure.
like imagine this, right? Look at CRMs, right? Like I use HubSpot. Imagine you had to write everything down, even if you didn't have Excel. Writing down your prospects, the phone numbers, and things like that. So I know we're getting a little bit off track here, but let's get to your lessons, Jeff, for the week.
Yeah, I think I just said it earlier. In regards to launching my new association and my board, and not having the turnout that we had was a lesson. Again, that all came down to the marketing and the content of it. So I failed miserably on that. But it wasn't a complete failure. It was a lesson to take away from that, and the wins. Um, you know, like I said, my partner went to a big show, a big event in Daytona. No logistics company or anything like that, and you have to have a certain pass to get in there. So we have pretty good connections that we can get into these shows where you can't be a logistics guy. You just have to be like in that industry in order to be a participant or even go into it. So
Let's see a
uh,
VIP kind of, you got to be up there. You got to know some people.
got to be creative, my friend. You have to be extremely creative. Like I said, we don't do much phone calls at all. And, I think I made 5 phone calls this whole year, and we're killing it this year compared to last year. So we must be doing something right. And those are the wins and the lessons for myself. You don't have to have a ton of wins every single week. I
No, no,
think
no.
more important is the lessons that you learn over the wins.
I think progression, right? Like, okay, if
Yeah.
you had something that didn't go right, or if you didn't have one, just what you learn from it, right? And just kind of move forward, right? Because how often do we say this? The week is so short, the month is so short, the year is so short. So there's not, hey, if you have a bad day, the one thing I've kind of learned from Matt Diavella, who's a minimalist YouTuber and author and things like that, he's always kind of said, like, never have 2 bad days in a row. You could take a day off, but just don't let 2 days go without a workout. Don't let 2 days go without eating healthy or doing something or getting to moving. So consistency, progression is something that definitely strive for. The lesson I've kind of learned is, you know, it's kind of like more personal, personal wise. Is like, for me, I've always kind of been a person to like filter out the news and not really pay attention. Jeff, I've always
Yeah.
had a horrible way of like, if it doesn't affect me, then I don't care, and kind of just switching that mentality, because at the end of the day, with the quiet quitting episode that we did, we've got to kind of understand the values, and boundaries that people have, and being able to understand. I know there's a million causes out there and there's a million fights out there, and we don't need to consume all of that, but just
Um,
open up, broadening your vision to that. So that's something I'm going to continuously work on, and just be a better person every day, and just be kind always. And that's kind of the motto that I kind of live with every day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest wins for me is I woke up every day. you
You know
know,
what?
I-
You know what? It's as simple
when
as
it
that.
really comes down to it, so I guess that's a great day, every day. So,
You've lived the longest in your life than you have, right? And
I,
you, it's cool to think that, because it reminds me of a conversation I had with a really good friend on Tuesday, and just kind of like talking about that gratitude of, like, for being able to wake up every day. We're able to like hug our wives, kiss our wives. We're able to eat what we kind of want to eat, and just being thankful for those things. So
yeah,
those are always the wins, man.
take things for granted. Don't take things for granted. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's when you do that when shit happens. I mean, seriously, every day you wake up. I mean, I start my day out, and I told you 100 times, I wake up with a smile, man. I'm smiling now. I smile all day. My positivity level is like through the freaking ceiling every single day. I don't have time for toxicity or negativity or anything like that. And I shrunk my outer circle into a very small inner circle, and it's proven tremendous benefits. And everyone out there, I mean, you need to really do that every once in a while, and you'll be amazed. You really will. You'll be amazed.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of like with progression of life too, right? Because like you think of like when we're kids, when we're in elementary school, we're teenagers and become adults. Like we always think at that point in time, like, hey, I'm always gonna have my best friends, like from there, and then things change, right? And it's just like, you wish that you kind of knew when this was the last time you're gonna do something. Like Jeff, when was the last time you like hung out with your buddies outside, when you were like 16, right? And then you're like, oh my God, I thought this was last forever, but truly it really didn't, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I still have some of my best friends since kindergarten. I mean, how many people can say that?
yeah.
A long, long time. And we still drink beers and have a lot of fun. Every time we get together, I think we lose like 30 years off our life. And we try to do silly stuff that we really shouldn't be doing, but we do it.
Hey man, it's life, right? And kind of brings to that. Jeff, what are you getting up to this weekend, my friend?
Going to do some wine tasting, going out
I
to
love that.
dinner with my wife, just hanging out, having a nice, going upstate New York. Um, yeah, just doing a little bit of traveling and getting out of Dodge, so to speaking. How about you? What are you going to be doing?
Well, first and foremost, I just love that, because like I know when I first kind of started coming on here and we kind of like asked these like, like work, 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 and you're really taking out like every weekend since then, like, you're doing something with the family and you're building that family time. So, kudos to you, man. You're putting that effort in, and you're
Trying.
having fun. It's awesome. For me, my wife's birthday, it's my wife's birthday weekend. So we're
Oh,
gonna be
yeah, happy
celebrating.
birthday.
Yeah, she's amazing. She helped me a lot through yesterday's episode through quiet quitting because she's somebody who actually she works like in the healthcare industry, so she's
Tough
always has like
environment.
advice. Yeah, so she's awesome. So yeah, we're just gonna honestly hang out. Obviously, take some time to revisit some goals. Get one of those Starbucks holiday drinks. The creme brulee one is one of the best ones that I really like. But it's awesome. Like this time is going so short. We're gonna blink and it's gonna be Christmas time, right? So just enjoying the ride for what it is.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. It's just, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's a good takeaway right there, because if it takes so long to get there, you're not doing something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're not doing something. But if it comes quickly, then that means you're doing a hell of a lot, and time is flying by, and that's a positive. As long as you're doing positive things, it's all good, and that's the reason why time flies the way it does when you're really busy and occupied with your daily routine and whatever you're doing. But if you're sitting back, man, that 8 hours can become like 16 hours, just waiting for the day. Come on, end. But yeah, it's all good.
awesome, man. So Jeff, take us home, man. Let's take us home for the rest of the week. What's your one advice for everybody watching out there and listening on the replay?
Um, increase your
First one.
knowledge. Yeah, increase your knowledge daily. um our generation, my generation, hit the books, man. Start reading, look at this technology out there. You got to catch the younger generation. Used to be the opposite, but it's changing rapidly. So saddle up, man. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but you'll do it.
Beauty. Thank you everybody for coming out this morning and sharing your week with us as well. It's been a fun week. Monday and yesterday was some of my favorite episodes. We'll definitely catch the replay at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Next week, we got another jam-packed week for you. So have yourself a safe, amazing weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion Trucking and start designing your career